Hi there, I'm Clueless Mike and you're watching Modelling for Advantage. Okay, so let's see what the Kaiser has sent along today. Today we have a Deathwatch Combat Patrol. Lots of lovely Space Marines. I know everybody loves a Space Marine. Well, most people love. Well, everybody has a Space Marine army. So let's see what's in the box. Okay, let's see what we have inside. Rip off the old cellophane. Hopefully the light is not going to be too glaring here. What can we do when the old British summer is actually arriving? So what have we got in here? Lots of infantry in this box. Put that over there, spin him around. So we have our instruction booklet. Compared to the Dark Eldar one that we did, this one seems pretty thin, but exactly as you would expect inside. All the nice new instructions. I mean, I think we can all agree, Games Workshop now have their instructions really down pat. The colour coding's brilliant, it's got excellent 3D photos, just really well done instructions. Some useless rules that you will never use because they're, well, useless. In the back of the book. Lots of bases, some 32mm for all the intercessors and such, and then we have some 40mm which will be for the characters and the aggressors. So that's those, not particularly interesting bases. So let's have a look at some character sprues. So we have this one here, this is the Apothecary. I suspect there's another half of him somewhere. There he is. So this is a good model to start with because this is the best thing in this kit. The new Space Marine Codex, when it came out last year, introduced the Apothecary, which now gives a 6-up Feel No Pain aura, reasonably useful. But the main thing is you can upgrade him to the Chief Apothecary and give him the Warlord trait, Master Healer I think it is, which basically is an auto-include in more or less any Space Marine list. It lets you use the stratagem, which lets you put a model back on the table each turn for free, and it also lets you heal twice. So an Apothecary with the multi-wound models that are in a Space Marine army is an absolute must, and it's one of the things that makes Space Marines as good as they are at the moment. So getting this model in this kit is a real standout, and this is a kind of probably a 20 quid model at least, separately, so real added value from this kit. It's a nice enough model, not my favourite model, it's a bit static, and it doesn't have any close combat weapons, which being a Blood Angel player, I generally prefer a close combat weapon on my models, but it's nice enough and it's got some really good details, loads of the little Apothecary bits there, which are excellent for conversion work. If you've already got one, you could easily knock up something else for another army using that. Then we have the Lieutenant. I think this is the Lieutenant. He is just a single sprue model. I'm looking at that. I can see a head, I can see a torso, I can see shoulder pads and both weapons. So yeah, a single model character, a single sprue character there. Not really worth much, I don't think. This was first released in Dark Vengeance, I believe, if it was that one. Yeah, it's just the Lieutenant. Not the best loadout either. A power sword on your Lieutenant, not really the best. Good for conversion opportunities, I think, is probably the best use for it. Or you could field it as a Lieutenant if you wanted. Usable for many things, so not worthless, but not really adding much to the kit. Next up, now, if you're playing this as Deathwatch, these are what you're really here for. These are the Deathwatch upgrade kits. Now, these are pretty expensive if you buy them on their own from Games Workshop, and speaking from experience, trying to find bits on eBay for these, and especially the 2 Terminator shoulder pads, is pretty difficult. You only get the 2 Terminator shoulder pads there, and that's the only place to find them. And obviously you're going to need more than 2 for a kit. I think they give you 4 in here, so that's reasonably useful. Still wouldn't do a full squad of Terminators if you were doing Terminators. In here they're used for the aggressors, but yeah, really useful. You get a couple of nice swords, a really cool helmet with, don't know if you can see that on there, kind of like a mohawk bit with an Inquisition symbol at the front of it. Really cool helmets, really like those. What is this? So this is probably the main thing in the kit. This is a full squad of aggressors. Now, unfortunately, aggressors have suffered a little bit. They were the stars in 8th edition, really powerful, and they had one minor alteration when they upgraded to 9th edition. They meant they could no longer shoot twice. cutting the firepower of a unit in half is a pretty big deal, making them a lot worse. I actually think they're still a pretty usable unit. They've each got 3 attacks with power fists, they've each got loads of anti-infantry firepower, 3 wounds, 5 toughness. They're a really solid unit, but most people judge them by the fact that they're not as good as they were. This is the full kit here, so there is an easy build version out there, but this is the full kit, so you can make this with either the Boltstorm gauntlets or the Flamers. Depending on your chapter, kind of guides you to which you're going for. The Flamers have become a lot better because they've got increased range, and I think they're a bit cheaper. Really good in salamanders and such. If you're playing them in Deathwatch, I think you probably want to stick with the Boltstorm gauntlets. You don't get any of the bonuses from special issue ammunition, but I think they probably synergise better with what Deathwatch is trying to do. So you can see, again, loads of bits on there. You've got all these spare shoulder pads and stuff, which you can use for other stuff if you're fitting them out with the Deathwatch shoulder pads. And again, just a really nice multi-piece kit there. Okay, moving on. What have we got here? We have an Intercessor sprue. Now, this is one of the disappointments I have in this box. This has 10 Intercessors in, and best will in the world, anyone playing any form of Primaris Space Marines is going to have an awful lot of Intercessors. So you don't really want another 10, to be honest. This is the full kit, so it's got all the options, all the different weapons. I mean, I say different weapons, they're the same weapon, but you plug in a different magazine. One is curved, one is straight, and one is kind of like a box magazine, depending on if you're heavy assault or rapid fire. It's a nice enough kit, but again, just not really that needed at this point. So you can see that there, and I believe, let's have a double check. Are the 2 sprues exactly the same? They are exactly the same. You can see those side by side there, hopefully. So not the best value throwing in 2 of exactly the same sprue there. You'll hopefully have seen the Dark Angel unboxing we've done. In that, there's a single Intercessor sprue. That's fine, 5 Intercessors, useful. And you're getting something else instead. I'd have much preferred some Incursors. Anything like that. If you're making a Deathwatch army, the idea is that you make mixed squads. That's what Deathwatch do differently to normal Space Marines. So giving you some different options in the Start Collecting box or the Combat Patrol box, I think would have been a much better thing to do, and would have just been a much better Start Collecting or such for Deathwatch. But that is that. Not the most interesting of these we've done. It's really interesting comparing it to the Dark Eldar or Drukhari one we did. Just the thickness of the box and the sheer amount of plastic inside. This one is not my favourite. This is low down on my choice of which Start Collectings I would buy, starting with the 10 Intercessors and then the Lieutenant. Really, none of those are particularly value adds in my mind. Okay, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content, like the video, maybe leave us a comment. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Clueless Mike, and you're watching Modelling for Advantage.